In this video, I'm going to show you an automation that can automatically generate a monthly report or a monthly audit on Google Slides using make.com. This is a great automation that takes data sources, it extracts key insights or key metrics, records those metrics in an Airtable base, and then uses a Google Slides automation to auto-generate custom-branded reports that can be sent to clients. This is a super powerful automation that takes hours of work away from a team. So it's all based on a boilerplate report. Here I've created one for an SEO monthly project report for a client, but it could be anything. Any type of regular report that you need to pull together where you gather data from various data sources and you collate into a document like this. So that's where this type of automation shines. And then you have placeholders within the content, such as total sessions here. You can dynamically populate out the numbers within these. So it looks mega impressive. This automation covers pulling in data from Google Analytics for the likes of all of this website traffic. It pulls in data from DataForSEO for a lot of the off-page metrics around backlink building, domain authority ratings, new keywords that a website's ranking for. And we also pull in data from WordPress to demonstrate how many pages have been updated in a particular month, how many new posts have been created. And then at the very end, we also have a next steps, which is text-based and talks about short-term and long-term goals. All of this is based off fields in an Airtable that save notes from meetings with the client and talk about the objectives of that client's contract. So this automation allows you to generate a fully branded report on Google Slides, and it gets you from 0 to 80% with the click of a button. And all of this is powered by a single make scenario and a single Airtable base, which effectively persists the metrics that are imported with the automation. So you can see that we have these easy to use buttons to import analytics, import SEO metrics, content, generate text, and generate the report. So they're just easy to use buttons that you click. And then the Google Slide presentation or the Google Slide report is based off these metrics. And then when it comes to the executive summary of the report, it's using the data that is gathered and compares it against the data from the previous month so that it can point to trends within the data that you might not see otherwise. So here's a high-level overview of the automation. So the entire system is built on webhooks so that when you press these buttons in Airtable, it automatically triggers the automation. So with this up and running, you never should have to log in to Make unless something breaks. And then depending on what button is clicked, it'll go down different tracks. So for this one, the Import Analytics one, it's going to get the record from Airtable, and then it's going to use the Google Analytics 4 module in Make to generate reports on the traffic trends for the time period specified. And then it updates the Airtable with those records. So here we're talking about new users, returning users, number of sessions, average time on site, etc. The second track is the Import SEO track. Here we get the record and then we go to the DataForSEO service and we're fetching a backlink history for that time period. And it's able to tell you the number of new backlinks or lost backlinks during that period. There are plenty of other DataForSEO modules as well, so you could extend this out to fetch domain rating improvements or declines, new keywords that the site's ranking for, etc. So all of that is there. This third track imports content metrics from WordPress. So what we're doing is we're searching WordPress for new posts generated during this time period and updated posts generated during this time period. And then we're saving all of that as well. And of course, that could be extended out further if you want. We then go into the generate text content row. So here, we're getting all of that data that we have gathered in Airtable and sending it into ChatGPT to say, I want you to generate an executive summary that not only talks about the accomplishments of this month, but also trends in the data. And it also generates some nice kind of next step slides as well. And then once all of that data is created and saved on Airtable, you can just press the generate the report button and it comes down this track. It copies the boilerplate presentation from your Google Drive and then it comes down here and then it starts creating these dynamic slides with all of this information from Airtable. This can be extended out. The more placeholders you have, the more kind of dynamic data you can inject into this. So this is a super powerful automation, and particularly if you have reports that are really labor intensive to kind of collate and pull together the data, this could definitely save you a lot of time and therefore a lot of money. It could also even be used in pre-sales. So if you were pulling proposals together, you could at scale provide a mini SEO audit in this case as part of a sales pitch, where you're pulling in key data. You could even get screenshots of the website, drop it into the Google Slide, and it would look super impressive if you were trying to win a contract. So now let's go through this in more detail. If you want a copy of this blueprint so that you can install it at the click of a button, just like so, then check out the link in the description to our community, where you'll be able to access this template, as well as all of our other system templates and micro templates that you see here. Each of these templates has fully fleshed out descriptions on how to install and use them. We have a vibrant community where there's plenty of discussions and back and forth between both myself and Al and the founders, as well as other community members. We also run weekly events that you'll be able to jump on and get live support in real time. And finally, we have some really interesting courses, particularly the Make.com Masterclass course, where you can get really proficient at building out automations like this. So we'd love to see you there. Check out the link in the description to sign up and become a member. And we'd love to meet you on one of our onboarding calls. So I'm looking for a Boilerplate SEO audit document. So I found one here on slidesgo.com. This is an SEO monthly project report. I'll use this for the moment, and then this can kind of form the basis of the boilerplate, and we're going to dynamically populate the data within this. A few months ago, I created a similar automation using Microsoft PowerPoint and OneDrive. If you are looking for a PowerPoint version of this solution, check out that video. I'll leave a link for that in the description. Okay, so I finished making changes to this. This is a quick run through of the boilerplate. So we have SEO monthly project report. We have our table of contents. So introduction, then we're going to go into kind of performance metrics on traffic, the work completed both on page and off page, and then next steps. So then nice kind of section intro. We're going to have 2 slides just of an executive summary. We have a section for website traffic metrics. So nice big number, total sessions this month. So like this is all down to, I suppose, Google Analytics. So we'll need to see how that Google Analytics kind of data source is going to work. But yeah, ideally we can show kind of number of sessions in that month, number of unique visitors, average visit duration, sessions, etc. Then we can kind of have breakdown slides where it's like total organic traffic, where we have this month versus last month and maybe versus the same month last year, so that you can kind of see trends. So then work completed. So then looking at an on-page SEO, how many content updates were there in that month? So we'll probably need a WordPress API here, such as to figure that out. The number of new posts versus the number of updated posts. Then in terms of off-page SEO, maybe we'll have a backlinks report. So the number of new backlinks acquired. So we'll need to use something like Moz or Data4SEO. Key off-page metrics. So the number of kind of do follow links that have been acquired. Brand mentions. No idea where we're going to get that. Maybe Apify. We'll see. Then next steps, short-term and long-term goals. Again, this is going to be free text that maybe Claude can create for us. And then finally, a nice kind of closing slide. The really nice thing about an automation like this is you end up with a fully branded template, because that's what, that's the level that's required in service and an agency. There are slides I didn't use here. Stuff like this is going to be hard to automate. Those kind of trend graphics. You'll see slides like this where it's kind of like a progress percentage, which will be hard to automate in Google Slides. Even this as well, how far down that track is, because that's very much just a design. I've selected a path of least resistance here. So, okay, let's leave it there. I'm going to save that. And then now let's try to find some data sources and see how we can pipe in dynamic data into this. All right, so I've created a new scenario here. So let's call this our SEO monthly report. Now, first things first, a lot of the data that's in this boilerplate is website traffic data. So I really need to figure out what's going on with Google Analytics. Oh, cool. Okay, we do have a Google Analytics 4 module on Make. So let's have a quick look. Generate a report, make an API call, create an event. Not a huge amount there. Okay, so I've successfully connected my property into Make. I really hate the new Google Analytics for the Universal Analytics was just so much better. It is just tedious working with GA4. But anyway, so what do we have here? Date ranges. So, okay, that'll work. At least we'll be able to get this month. Dimensions, metrics, and then a limit. So, all right, let's test this out. Last 30 days, because we could run this automation on the first day of the month. So it should be the last 30 days. Last month isn't actually an option because I know not every month has 30 days. I'll just select all dimensions and let's say metrics. I want to find, I'd like to find sessions. Yeah, and there's a concept of engaged sessions versus the other type of sessions. We really need to search here. Sessions. Cool. Okay, let's try this. Okay, save it and run. Request limited 9 dimensions within a nested. I've asked for 374 dimensions. Fair enough. Don't select all. I can't even remember what a bloody dimension is in Google Analytics. Let's ask ChatGPT. What's a dimension in Google Analytics? Okay, that's fine. I want to get the number of sessions for the last 30 days. What dimension do I need? Key dimensions of day, date. Okay, that might work. Let's try it. Save, run once. This is very exploratory here now. Cool, yeah, that's not bad. It's bundling. So there's basically a bundle for each day. We could do an aggregation on that. That's an option. They might even have a metric for, 28-day active user. Maybe without a 28-day session or something. Is there anything there? Oh my God, you need a master's degree to figure out Google Analytics 4. Sessions per user, day of week. I wonder is month a dimension? That would be really cool if it aggregated it by month. There we go. Let's try that one. Let's make life a lot easier. Get rid of that. Press OK. Save. Run. Yeah, look at that. Excellent. Okay, this might be easier than I thought. And that solves the problem as well of the 30 days because month is month. It depends on how many days are in the month. So sessions 3,830. Show advanced settings. Dimension filter mode map. Oh, very good. Yeah, this could work. That's nice. So we have a filter here. So we can filter the month because even if you run this, let's say on the 2nd of December, you're going to get data for the 1st of December. So you'll end up with 2 bundles. Whereas if we can pass in exactly matches 11, let's say, because we want November's data. Press OK to that and save, run it. Excellent. That's great. Cool. Let's set up a new variable then, which is going to be, throw the clock over there, connect it up. And this is going to be the month number. So we are looking for month number 11. So we'll press OK to that. And then back into here, let's set that as the metric data. Perfect. Press OK to that, save and run. Yeah, excellent. So we now have a number of sessions. Cool. Now, let me think. Maybe we need an Airtable for this. Maybe if we have an Airtable with a table of KPIs, and then we can kind of just load them in. And then, because we might need to manually add some of them. Okay, so into Airtable, start from scratch, change the color. That's better. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, so let's call this our SEO monthly report. Table is going to be key metrics. Let's get rid of all of that. Let's add in, okay, so month number. This is our key that we're going to be working across. Change that to the primary field and get rid of that. Get rid of all these. Now, so this is month number 11. So now if we come in here and let's now create an Airtable, which is, for the moment, we'll just do get a record. We could change this to a webhook in a few minutes, but let's just do get a record. We'll select that. I already have an Airtable connection set up. Choose the base, which is now the SEO monthly report. Key metrics at the table and record ID, I assume is just 1. Let's just test that. Run this module. It is not 1. What is the record ID? Oh yeah, this is a good trick just to, so we'll set the formula, record ID, create that field. Okay, copy that in. There's the record ID. Perfect. Okay, we have our record ID now, and now we have our month number. We'll change that in a few minutes to a webhook. We can just create a button here and ping it to auto-generate the metrics. Cool. So month number, we don't really need this now. I'll leave it there for the moment. Month number 11. Cool. Now let's run the full automation. And yes, it's working. So let's come over here now, back to Airtable, update a record, and let's come in here, sessions. And then this is going to be a number, probably an integer. It doesn't need decimal places. Okay, and then we'll choose our table. Record ID is going to be this guy. We don't need to set a month number because it's already in the record ID. We're just adding the sessions, and the sessions is what we're getting back from this long module. And there it is, sessions. We'll press OK to that. Let's save and run it. And there we go, 3,830 sessions. Great. Well, actually, I think this module can return more than just sessions. So if we click into here, we can choose different metrics. This month dimension actually is brilliant. So let's come into metrics. We want total sessions, which we now have, unique visitors, average visit duration, sessions per visit. I provide those types of things. So total users, that's good. Sessions per user isn't bad. Views, excellent. Page views per session, new user. Bounce rate we do need on the engagement metrics. Average session duration, excellent. Okay, let's try that. We'll save it. And now, excellent. Look at all of that. Cool. Let's create some fields for these. Okay, so we have, that's right, new users is a number with 0 decimals. Total views per session, again, just the decimal. Okay, let's try that. So then we'll come into here. Let's load up our fields again. So now we can set users. Somewhere here, there's total users, views per session, views. There are just so many metrics here. New users, there's average session duration. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Let's save it. We have that back up here. So save and run. Yeah, look at that. That's brilliant. Great. So we have some metrics. Let's add this to Google Slides. So let's come back into our boilerplate. Maybe now we need to start putting in some routers. Let's tidy this up for a second. Okay, yeah. So we'll just insert a field here, which will be our trigger make. This is just a nice hack to be able to use webhooks on the free version of Airtable. So we're going to open a URL, which will be trigger scenario is going to be that. And then just create the field for a second. So come back in here. Let's add a new module. We'll create a custom webhook. Add a new webhook. So this is going to be our SEO report webhook. We'll save that, copy that address to the clipboard, and then link that up. So now this is going to generate off a webhook. And then we come back into our field here, paste that in, and then we're going to put in question mark record equals, and then ampersand record ID. So we'll save that, save this, and if we run that and press trigger scenario, yeah, we can see that's accepted and the scenario is triggered, and yeah, more changes have been made. And that actually updated because Google Analytics is live data. Well, not live, but you know what I mean. So now let's duplicate this. So duplicate field, and then maybe this one is import analytics. So record equals that, and action equals import analytics. We'll save that. Then over here, this is going to be create report. So the action is create report. Okay, so we now have two buttons. Import analytics is one, and then generate the report is another. And then they have different actions associated with them. So if I save this and run it and click import analytics, now I just press Control so that it opened up in a new tab, but it did it silently. You can see this ran, but now if I click this bubble, you can see the record ID is this and the action is import analytics. So if I copy that, drag this out, add a router, and then set a filter in this one. So this is import analytics. And then we're going to set the action as equal to import analytics, which you can see there. And then it should go down that track. So then the next thing is let's clone this module and then connect these two, press on this, and the action for this button is create report. There's create report, there's the action, and it's equal to that. So press OK, click save and run it. Now let's click this button and it's just gone down this track. You can see one and there's one. So excellent. So now we have a way to kind of focus our attention now on a different stream within this automation. So next up now, let's hit Google Slides and let's have a look at the modules. We can always hit their arbitrary API call as well if we don't have what we need. So let's see. So we need to kind of clone a presentation effectively. Get a presentation, get a page, get a presentation from a template. Yeah, I'm not really seeing what I need there. Maybe we're looking at this wrong, actually. Maybe it's not Google Slides. Maybe it's Google Drive. Maybe it's like copy a file on Google Drive. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it makes a copy of an existing file. So let's try that one. Copy a file. I have a connection already set. You obviously would need to do that. Where is this saved? Actually, I'll just create a new folder now, which is for reports. And then the new folder location for the new file will be in this kind of individual reports folder. Copied file name, I suppose, yeah, we could call it month number. Kind of need a client name, really, don't we? Let's add a new field here, which will just be client name. And this is, yeah, let's use the same client as we used in the previous video. So prime properties, that was in the PowerPoint video that I did. So it's the client name. Now I need to reload this get a record. Okay, so we now have client name. So maybe client name dash and then the month number, and that probably is fine. So we'll press OK to that. Now let's save and we'll run it back to the Airtable, click generate report, and there we go. It's copying the file. Excellent. And now let's go into Google Drive, and there we go. Prime properties dash 11, 11 being November. Probably need a year, but anyway, you could add that at a later date. So great, we have a copy now of the presentation that we can play around with. So we probably need to save a file ID here. I'm going to be making lots of changes to this file. We don't need to keep copying the file. We only need to copy it once. So maybe let's insert a field which will be file ID. It can be a single line of text. And then back into here, then we'll update a record. So we'll clone that one. The record ID is not from 3. That's up on this track. It's from 7. And then we can get rid of all of these. And then file ID is this. That's the result of this module number 8. So we'll press OK to that. And then maybe we'll come in here and we'll add another router. So this router will be, do we have file ID here yet? We probably don't. Let's just save this. I'll put in a 1 = 0 so we can't go past this point. I don't want to keep creating files in Google Drive. So let's run it back into here to generate the report. And now it's loaded up. It hasn't actually loaded up file ID. Let me just put in some dummy text. Try that again. Now, there we go, file ID. Great. So we can get rid of that filter. And now, so we want to go down this track if there's no file ID set. So let's come in here. File ID does not exist. Press OK. And let's test this. So we got rid of that filter. Let's save it. We'll run that one. Now let's delete this file. Move to trash. Let's generate the report, and it didn't appear. What happened? Oh, sorry, file ID does exist. I need to get rid of this. Try it again. Yeah, it doesn't exist. Generate the report, and it should appear. No, what is going on? Oh no, it did work. Yeah, perfect. And now next time then, if we come down here, so now we need a Google Slides module. Google Slides, maybe we'll try get a presentation. Let's give that one a go. And we're going to hook it up to this router. And this is when the file ID does exist. So when the file ID exists, we're going to get a presentation, choose your connection, and you're going to be using that file ID. Okay, let's give that a go. So we'll click run once. It's gone down here, loading the presentation, and it's worked. Excellent. There's the presentation ID. There are 34 slides. Excellent. Okay, so it has loaded the presentation. So what do we want to do next? So we have the sessions metric. So let's try to add the sessions metric here into this total sessions. So if I right click on this slide and mark it as skip slide, and then if I come in here and I go to Google Slides and then I choose create a slide from a template slide, I think the fact that it's marked as skipped means it should show up. So let's test that out. So create a slide from a template slide, and then that's done by mapping because we have the presentation ID from here. Well, technically we have it here. We don't even need to load this. Let's leave it for the moment. So template slide ID, page object ID. How about this? Let's try it via dropdown for the moment. Okay, prime properties 11. Let's see what shows up. Yeah, so template slide number 1 in page 8. So we're not getting any values. To retrieve template slides, make sure to mark them skipped. If the selected slide page contains tags like name, they are retrieved below. So okay, let's press OK to that. Come back in here, and then if we add that in there, that automatically saves. Come back into, nope, back into there. Press refresh. Aha, brilliant, sessions. And we have our sessions from the Airtable, get a record. So press OK to that. Now, if we press save, interested to see what happens here. We click run, click generate, and let's watch what happens here. A slide should magically appear. And it did. Great. It didn't appear in the right place, but it appeared. 3830 total sessions. Excellent. Why did it not appear in the right place, though? Aha, show advanced settings, slide index page number. So where was it supposed to appear? A slide 8. So let's try that. Obviously, I'm hard coding this for the moment, but we can set this dynamic in a minute. Okay, let's have a look on the left-hand side, website traffic metrics. Oh, yeah, there we go. Brilliant. This is great. Okay, so let's kind of flesh out some more of these slides, and let's try to figure out how we can kind of do this without hard coding everything. So unique visitors. So clearly these curly brackets are required, and you have to skip the slide as well. I don't know, does it support dashes or underscores? Let's try that. Sessions per, let's say. Okay, so we'll try this one now. So let's skip slide back into here. Then we need another create a slide from a template. Yeah, like an option is just to manually create all of these kind of modules for all of the dynamic modules that we need to fill out. So that's doable, as in it's a bit time consuming, but it's just a one-off setup, and then it should work. It would be nicer though if there's a way to just, I have the presentation ID. There's my new slide, which is excellent. Yeah, look at this. That's great. So visitors is users, I think. Average visits, what is that? Average visits per session? I can't even remember. Is it average visit duration? Average session duration? Thereabouts. Sessions per user? Views per user. You get the idea. I'll make some changes to these. Okay, so I think that is done. Show advanced settings. So where do we want to slot this into position 10? Press OK. Save it, run it, back in here, generate, and let's wait for it to drop in. Yeah, look at that. That is an incredibly long number. We definitely need to do something with that, but it worked. Let's come in here. I'm sure there's a math function somewhere. Math function rounds out a numeric value to the nearest integer. Format number. Nope. Why is there no round number to a set number of decimal places? It just rounds to an integer. Let me have a look. Okay, yeah, so there we go. Format number. These are the little things in Make that just are a bit odd. So let's have a look at that one. So my number is average session duration. And decimal points is 2. Decimal separator is dot, and thousand separator is comma. So let's try that. Looks a bit odd, but might work. Let's see. Run once, generate, and wait for the magic. And it worked. Excellent. Look at that. Cool. That was a nice hack. Use per session. Press OK. Save. Run. Hit the button. And there we go. Brilliant. It's great. So these two slides are fully dynamically generated. Now, the question is, how can we not have to manually map all of these? Like selecting the report via the dropdown is just a pain. I'd rather do it by the mapping. So let's get a handle on this. Create a slide from a template slide. Choose by mapping. We have the presentation ID here. Page object ID. Yeah, it is. Okay, so the first one, so this sessions one is in position 8, slide 8. So that's the object ID. Then if I move that around, let's say, and reload it, I'm assuming it doesn't, I hope it doesn't change. G3105, run this module again. So slides, what position are we in now? 5. G3105, cool. Okay, so that object ID doesn't change. Yeah, so out of curiosity then, if I put in this page ID that I just picked up a minute ago. Ah, nice, okay, yeah. So maybe you drop this in there. Yeah, you can't drop that in. You can't use 2 curly brackets on either side because that's actually a syntax that Make uses in this canvas. And that's kind of what it's saying here. It already contains that delimiter. So we just need to put in sessions. The tag is sessions. I'm just going to put in my name just to see, does this work? So I'll press save to that and generate. And let's see. Do we get this around here somewhere? This one here? Yeah, there we go. Excellent. So that did work. Yeah, so there's 2 ways to do this then. So for the create a slide from a template slide, you can either use the drop down. This is definitely the easiest way to do it. It's a bit of a pain to have to select the presentation ID every single time, but at least when you do that and refresh it, the right fields will load up, as you can see here, and then you can just drop them in. What I've done here is I've done it by mapping, and I'm able to kind of inject the ID of the template. I was able to figure out what the page object ID is. Then you can build up a values mapping like this. The alternative is you could probably, this is fairly advanced now, but download inputs So this is an array of objects. There's only one object in it, but if I copy that out, let's just try this and click map. That's the format that it would be looking for. So I could use that, but no, I think I'll just leave it as is. That's kind of overkill. I'll just add them manually the way I'm doing it here. So, okay, let's move all of these out of the way, and then let's add a router. This router isn't like the other ones where we're trying to send the automation down a certain flow. I think we're just going to hit every single one of these, and then we can even name them. So maybe that's the best way to kind of describe this. So this is the sessions slide, isn't it? Yeah. So this is the total sessions slide. Let's unlink that. And what's this one? This is the, whatever we want to call it, website metrics slide. Okay, so there's two. I'll leave that one as is for the moment, because I probably will end up using, the mapping one. So actually, let's pick another one, right? So we have, maybe let's put all of our blueprints at the top, our templates at the top, because it's kind of, the new slides are being injected in and around them, and it's kind of hard to find what I'm looking for. So yeah, we have these two up here. Great. And then these can have static positions then, which would be very nice. Performance. Okay, so let's create a new template now for this one. Let's say total organic traffic. Okay, and then we need to give these keys. So organic sessions month, and then that is last, and then this one is last year. And then let's skip this slide, and then let's come in here. Let's run this module again, because we've rearranged the slides. I just want to get the object ID. All right, and then let's bring this down here, hook it up, slides. So it's slide 3, then into here. So we just hard code slides 3. Then we need to get, oh God, yeah, no, we can't bring in the curly brackets. So organic sessions month, organic sessions last, and organic sessions year. Let me just populate these out for a second just so I can save it. We're going to need to have 9 items here. Again, if you're going the other direction, it'll automatically render out anyway. So organic sessions per month, do we have that from Google Analytics, or sorry, from Airtable, because we've loaded it all into there. We have sessions, that's total sessions. Into our Google Analytics, there's session, organic, no, not there. Engage sessions. Can we set a dimension for organic, I wonder? Is that how this works? Maybe it's source. Okay, let's try source. Press OK, run that. Month number 11. No, yeah, the request dimensions and metrics are incompatible. That kind of makes sense, to be honest. Source will probably break down per source. The alternative is, right, let's clone the module and just run a source report. Let's try, with this clone module, let's try source. I'll turn off the month dimension. We might have to aggregate it. Let's see, does that work? It might not. Get rid of that filter as well. Click OK. Run the module. No, I think this is more just showing up my lack of understanding on Google Analytics. I'll ask ChatGPT. How do I get the number of organic sessions per month via dimensions and metrics in GA4? Session default channel grouping is the dimension, metric is sessions. There we go. Session default channel grouping. There you go. Okay, so it's not source, and then metric is sessions. I already have that set, so let's press OK. Save. Anyway, excellent. Yeah, that worked for the last 30 days as well. Yeah, actually, I do wonder now, could we set the dimension as month? If we could, that would be amazing. Otherwise, we're going to have to do some messing. There's month. Press OK. Run this module, and it worked. Excellent. Yeah, brilliant. Then we can put back in our filter then, which is to filter for the right month. My God, like ChatGPT is your friend when it comes to this stuff, particularly for GA. Exactly matches our month from the Airtable. Press OK, run the module. 11 is the month. Cool. So 3,185 sessions for organic, 506 direct, 119 referral. If you want assigned social for, not a social website, that is excellent. So now let's save that to Airtable. We're going to end up with a really big Airtable here, but it doesn't really matter. It would be nice to be able to save all of this as, you could probably save it all as JSON and then parse the JSON when you're generating the slide. Should I do that? No, maybe just for the moment I'll just save these. So organic sessions, and that is a number with 0 decimals. So we'll create that, get the record, so we should now be able to save it. Organic sessions. We're getting lots of bundles here. Yeah, I would need to set up different fields in Airtable and then do filters and stuff like that. So we might just a filter here. So the month is that, and then the session is exactly that, just to make life a bit easier. Save that, run the module, and that's, yeah, we only have one bundle now, so no need to aggregate. Then organic sessions, and where is it in this long list? There we go, sessions 3185. Okay, let's re-import, and now it's come down here, and it should have saved my new one, organic sessions, so that's great. That's how you end up getting this piece. And now I can come down to this stream, back into this slide. Organic sessions a month is now in the Airtable record. It's not showing it though, so just run that module. Cool, organic sessions, there we go. Okay, so let's save this and let's run this now. Wait for new data, generate the report, and now we should have a new slide, at least with this one metric pushed in. It'll probably appear at the end actually. I don't think I set a index for it. Yeah, no, it's at the end. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, 3185. We now have our organic sessions. Great. So that's pretty much how you do it. You're going to need to kind of work through the various quirks of the Google Analytics module to extract the data. The way I'm doing it there is just to save it to an Airtable, and I'm just breaking the process up into two, just in case one of those errors out. You don't want to break the entire flow. And then that way, then it's once everything is saved in Airtable, you can push it down here. Now, there's a bit of setup in that, but at the same time, if you've 10, 20 clients, you're generating these reports every month, this setup time is totally worth it. And you can create these audit reports on the fly, as you can see here, and set indexes so that they show in the right place. So that's an example of one data source where you can extract data and then dynamically inject it into the template. What I'm going to show you next is another data source. That's the Google Analytics data source. But we also need off-page metrics. So if we look at off-page here, new number of backlinks acquired. Can even create another one, which is new keywords acquired. So how do we get this data, let's say? So we have a few options for this. I think we're going to use DataForSEO. A lot of the other options are quite expensive. DataForSEO is a pretty good data source, and you can build out a huge amount from it. So let's dive into that one next. Okay, off-page SEO. I think a cup of tea needed for this one. Let's start. Backlinks. Keywords. Let's see what we can get from DataForSEO. If you haven't used this, it's a very cheap version of our SEMrush or Ahrefs. Cool. So let's have a look. API access, Playground, SERP, domain analytics. So yeah, they have come out with a domain rating. I don't know how recently, but they have one. So that would be a nice metric to bring in, just domain rating. They're all relative anyway, all the various domain ratings across different SEO platforms. So there is no definitive domain rating. We have a backlinks endpoint here. There's on page, there's content analysis, there's business data. So there's a huge amount of data here. So maybe choose backlinks. Let's go with backlinks. And yeah, let's go for summary as well. So this is just a proof of concept. So I'll just use DataForSEO.com, and you can see it's so cheap. Like that request was 2 cents, and it's getting back some really good data. So a summary of backlinks. This gives a complete backlink profile of the target. I think what I'd like is, because this is a monthly report, I wouldn't mind seeing something that's reflective of the last 30 days. Is there anything here we can look at? Okay, they have a history function here where you can pass a date range. So if I pass, let's say, previous month, because this is going to be a monthly report, I request that. Let's see what we get. So backlinks history. Oh, excellent. Yeah, new backlinks, lost backlinks, new referring domains. Brilliant. That is great. So then if we come over to our presentation, so new backlinks acquired, for example. So let's move this one up to the top, and then let's say new backlinks. So that's new backlinks. We will skip that slide. So we have import analytics. So let's maybe select all of those and move it up here. You could probably pull all of this into a single kind of button. I might just duplicate this button for the minute just for testing, and we'll just call this one import SEO metrics. Give it a different color, and then this action will be import SEO. So save that. So this is a new data source, and then we still need to get a record. So we will clone, you come down there, hook that up there. Then this time the action will be import SEO. So you can pretty much have a separate track then for each of your data sources. Build up your KPIs, in a key metrics table like this. Then once all of that's done, you can kind of trigger the generate report. So we have our record. So add another module. What's this one? Oh, month number. Yeah, don't really need that. We're getting it from the webhook. But anyway, no, I think there is a DataForSEO. Yeah, get backlinks. Yeah, there's plenty of modules here. And that's the one I was just looking at, actually. Get historical backlink data for domain back to the beginning of 2019. So let's use that one. We'll create a connection. Now I need to connect my account. Okay, so that is connecting my account, and there we go. So then we need to put in the target domain. This shouldn't be HTTP or www, so we'll just say DataForSEO.com. I think that's what we were doing in the playground. That's not the domain I'm using, but this is a proof of concept. You would put in your own domain. Now, date from and date to, so it needs to be in this format. So 2024 dash, and then we need month number -01. Yeah, and then we also need to provide the date too, and then the number of days in a month is going to change. We might need a new field for the number of days in a month. I'll hard code it for the moment, but you might need to create a new field here. So it's month number, wherever that is. Month number is here, sorry. And then you might need to have number of days in the month, and then you can dynamically inject that there. So yeah, 2024 dash month number, like even the year. Well, I'm sure there's a formula here to get the year. Well, no, because if you run it in January, you need last year. If you don't know February this year. Anyway, I'll hard code it for the moment. You'd need to figure that out. So 2024 dash month number, or just have the full date format in here, so have from and to date fields and then just drop it in there. That could work. So I'll leave it like this for the moment anyway. Okay, right. Let's save that, run it, and let's see what happens. We'll wait for new data, import SEO metrics, invalid field, date 2 must be earlier than present date. Yeah, sure. We're in the current month. You wouldn't have this problem because you would be looking for historical data. I'll manually do it for last month. Date 2 must be earlier than present date. Sorry, we're in November. We're looking for last month's report, so I'll just change that to 10. You'd obviously need to redo the Google Analytics thread, which is fine. You would just delete it and rerun that thread by pressing the button. But anyway, let's save that. You wait for new data, import the metrics, and here we go. Excellent. Cool. So this is all the data then. Backlinks history. So we're getting new backlinks, lost backlinks, total number of backlinks, number of internal links, number of broken backlinks. That's a nice metric. So plenty that we can save to an Airtable. So I'll just create a couple of fields to do that. Obviously, you would build out this for whatever fields you need. There's so many fields here. You definitely could try to store all of this in a single field and use some sort of JSON structure, but I'll leave that for the moment. It's a bit overkill. But we'll say new backlinks, and that can be a number, and we'll say lost backlink, and that is a number as well. So let's do that. Create the field back into here, and now we update a record, so we can clone this one. Attach it to there, search, with the record ID set, we can get rid of all these ones. And then now we have our new backlinks, and then you just need to find it in this buried data structure, which is here, new backlinks, and then this is lost backlinks. Okay, and then we will save that. Oh, no, actually it's referencing the wrong record ID. It needs to come from this one, which is number 17. So there we go. Okay, save, let's run that, wait for new data, and then let's press that one, and there we go. Magically appears. 409 lost, 459 new, so they're net positive. And then if we want to dynamically populate it in this page, we come down here, and now we create another one of these guys, clone this module. Now you're going to end up with this massive kind of spray of streams in this router. There's no reason why you couldn't do it like they could be the Google Analytics ones, and maybe these are the DataForSEO ones. That's probably a better way of doing it. So okay, let's come back in here. Now we need the slide ID. So I'll just run this module again. Where's our file ID? There it is. And our slide is slide 4 is what we're looking for. So slides, slide 4. There's our object ID. Back into here. Oops, that's the object ID. And then new backlinks without the curly brackets. And then the get a record. It hasn't loaded yet. I'll get it in a second. I'll just delete out these other ones because, okay, so I'll save that. I'll run this module. So you can see new backlinks and lost backlinks is showing. So it now should be available here in theory. And there it is, new backlinks. Perfect. So we'll save that. And now let's run run the scenario, wait for new data, generate the report. It'll probably appear at the end, I'd say. That's the total organic traffic that's come in. And there we go, 459 new backlinks acquired. Excellent. So that's pretty much it. You would go through DataForSEO, figure out what metrics you need, create fields here, and then just map them then in this Google Slide module. And that's how you build it out. And that's another data source now. So like we could do one more data source. So like, let's see what we've covered here. And if we go through this SEO monthly project report, all of this is from Google Analytics. Google Analytics, you can get that from GA, all of this from GA. Top performing keywords you'd probably get from DataForSEO because Google Analytics data on the keywords that result in a session is just woeful. Whereas I'm sure there's something here that you'd be able to get the top performing keywords. Maybe the keywords data API. Is that based on keywords? No. Yeah, we need one based on domains. Maybe it's domain analytics function. Just having a quick look at this. How do I get a keywords a domain URL ranks for? There you go. The labs API has all of this. That's that slide. So we pretty much have a lot of this covered now. The only one is this content updates, the on-page SEO. So I think in the last data source, I'm going to use WordPress, the WordPress API, just to try to pull those details. And then that's essentially everything, all of the metrics that we need in this document. The only thing missing then is the text, and we can go through that then after WordPress. So let's clone this. I'm starting to think maybe I should have just had one here because it's the exact same module every time. But anyway, we can refactor later. So this is import content metrics. So then the action could be import content metrics. And then again, we'll create a new button. Definitely these buttons could all be aggregated at the end. There we go. So import content. Okay, and a different color again. Now, so if I save this and run it, wait for new data, hit import content, and we're through to here. Excellent. So let's hit WordPress. What can we do in WordPress? Maybe we just need to search for posts within a specific date, maybe. That could work. What do we want to get? Yeah, we want to get the number of like content updates in a month, and maybe the number of new posts and updated posts. I don't think we're going to be able to get deleted posts, actually. We almost have to kind of track that somewhere else when it happens. So maybe we might just remove that. But maybe if you unpublished posts as part of a pruning, you could maybe search for that. But okay, so yeah, I'll just set up a new WordPress connection. So you need to put it in like that and then grab an API key. Oh yeah, that's right. There's a Make Connector plugin. Okay, so I've added that. I've installed the Make Connector plugin on the WordPress site and got the API key and then dropped in the URL. So all of that has loaded. So now let's have a look. So type posts, search blank, I suppose. Published, yes. Yeah, if we look at advanced settings, yeah, cool. There is a before date and an after date. Limit to posts published before a given date. So I suppose that could be, let's just try 2024-10-31. So yeah, if it's before that date, or maybe actually before the 1st of November and after the last day of September, something like that anyway. Okay, let's see that. Just run this. Okay, well, at least it worked. There's no posts. Actually, we might not have even posted anything in this month. I'll push it back to September. There's definitely stuff in September. So before the 1st of October and after the end of August. Cool. Okay, yeah, we have bundles. Now, what's the limit on that? Limit to 10. So if I limit that to 200, let's say. Yeah, so 13 posts published in that month. Okay, now the problem is we have all these bundles that we don't really need. So I'll just aggregate them. Array aggregator. Aggregate everything from that search posts. We don't really need to aggregate everything. Let's just aggregate on IDs. So save that. Let's just run this, wait for new data, hit up the import content. Excellent. So we have an array length of 13. So it's 13 new posts that month. So then we just need to come back in, clone this one into Airtable. Do we have a field for this? No, new field. So new posts. This is a number and create it, and then just refresh that so that the field loads. Sorry, get that out of the way. So yeah, we can delete these because that's from the previous module I just cloned. And new posts is the array length. So basically the number of bundles that we got back here. So that's all we need it for. We don't need the bundles at all outside of that. Why are you showing with the yellow? Oh yeah, again, I really need to sort out this record ID 21. There we go. Cool. And then you can kind of do the same again. So if we drag a box around these two and clone them, right click, paste. You could do something like this. Just run another search. And this time we're looking for, yeah, there's nothing obvious there that'll help us get the number of updated posts. Let me delete that for a second. Can we make an arbitrary API call? Yeah, make an arbitrary API call. WordPress API documentation. We can figure it out from there. I might just ask ChatGPT, might be able to do this faster. So give me the curl request to fetch all updated posts from WordPress where the published date is before a specified date. Because we only want updated posts where it was published before that time period. Okay, that looks decent. Well, actually, no, let me just clarify. I want posts that were published, let's say, for the 1st of September and were updated during that month. This query shouldn't return posts that were created during the month. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. All right, let's copy this out. Bring it back into Make. So this is a GET request, I believe. Yeah, X get. So drop it in there, and then we need to put in, yeah, so before, actually we didn't publish anything in October on the site, so it's September. So before the 1st of September, yeah, we're looking for posts that were published before the 1st of September, but were then modified after 1st of September, or more like the 31st of August, and modified before the 1st of October, and then we'll limit it to 200 pages. Okay, let's try that one. I've just updated the domain, run this module only. It's thinking about it. Service is temporarily unavailable. And yeah, I've removed the domain because it says you don't need to add the domain. It needs to be a relative URL. So press OK to that. Let's run it again. Might work. Let's see. I don't think so. No. Yeah, from looking at the documentation, it looks right. It looks like we're hitting the right endpoint. Let me just double check, because ChatGPT can make stuff up, particularly when it comes to these things. So before is definitely there. Yeah, it is the right date format. Let's try a different approach. Let's remove some of these parameters. No, that's not working either. So there's definitely a problem here. Even if I just hit posts, for example, work? No. Sorry, I just realized I hit pause on the recording, so I've lost like half an hour's work. Basically, what I figured out there, this make a request or make an API call module just isn't working for me. You can see how it's configured. I'm passing posts, which is what it wants. I'm passing nothing else, and it's literally just not working. Well, what I've done is I've used the HTTP request module, and I've constructed a request using an application password on WordPress, and it does work. So I don't know, was it a bug with the native kind of make WordPress module or what? But yeah, like I'm just passing posts, which is the same as what I was doing a minute ago. I'm passing an application password that I set at the user level in WordPress, and that's it. It's the exact same thing that I'm doing here. But when I run, it actually works. Whereas when I run it, it doesn't work. It should be exactly the same thing. So I don't know what's going on. So what I did then, that'll error out in a second. Yep, service is temporarily unavailable. It isn't. I've used that, and then I've passed in before dates, modified after dates, modified before dates. So essentially what I'm doing, I'm looking for posts that have been updated in this month, but were published before the month. So I've kind of constructed a query like that. I've used ChatGPT for it. I've kind of cross-referenced the WordPress documentation as well. And it works. It's given me back, like, run this module once, and look, it works. It's given me the 7 posts that were published before the period and were updated during the period. So it's a really powerful API, the WordPress REST API. You can just hit every single part of the WordPress system via REST. So don't be worried if there isn't a WordPress module, or if the WordPress module is not working, as it isn't there. You can always just use a standard make a request module, and if you construct it in the right way, you'll get what you need. So then I'm just saving that then to a new field on Airtable, which is my updated posts field. And I'm passing the length of the data that I'm getting back, which is basically the number of items in the data array, or the number of posts. And then you'll see here that saves as 7 updated posts, 13 new posts, and that's exactly what we need then for this content slide. And I have that working here. So I've created this template. So I've skipped it, and then I put in this variable in curly brackets, or in double curly brackets, npm-m, and -m is just the kind of arbitrary variable names. And then when I ran it, it populates it out here. And that's what I was doing just when I realized I wasn't recording. Yeah, so this is the WordPress slide. And yeah, those variable names are just in there. And we're getting the new posts from the Airtable base, and updated posts as well. And that's it. So that works, which is great. So you just need to kind of keep going with that. I only set 2 variables there, but like to get the previous month's posts, you would just change the dates in the query. Deleted posts will be a challenge. Maybe if you are pruning content on WordPress, maybe mark them as unpublished and then just try to query unpublished posts that were unpublished during that date period. And yeah, so that's great. So the on-page section kind of should be able to populate out from metrics from WordPress then. And then the only thing that's missing then is kind of text commentary about, next steps, what's in the pipeline of work for the following month. And so that's in this kind of section, next steps, short-term and long-term goals. I don't know, can these really be based on, aggregated metrics the way we've done the previous kind of sections? I think this might be a case of kind of interrogating whatever project management system you're using to execute this contract. Maybe you have some sort of objective set out, or maybe on Airtable, maybe you have monthly meetings with this client and you kind of figure out what you're doing. Maybe just drop all the notes into a field on Airtable, and then you could get ChatGPT to kind of generate out some nice bullet points here for short term and long term. And then that's also the same then with, like, let's say executive summary. What we could do with executive summary, if we feed in the notes from, let's say, a session where we work through short-term and long-term objectives, and maybe there's notes from the previous month's session which talks about like this month's focus and key activities, etc., then all of that could be thrown into a GPT-4o prompt with all of the key metrics from Airtable, and it could generate out a really nice kind of executive summary. I've created another row in this table just to kind of reflect the previous month, and then that way we can show how we can generate these executive summaries and a little bit of a before and after in terms of progress on the metrics. So yeah, September, I put in this new field, so it's monthly meeting notes with the client. Or let's just say this happens at the start of each month, and it kind of talks through things like major accomplishments and what the short-term objectives are, long-term next steps, any other notes. So this might be something you do anyway. You might jump on a call with the client, so that all of that can kind of drop in there. Then I've just fabricated some metrics just to show some sort of progress within the executive summary. So yeah, let's just say views are up, but backlinks have kind of taken a step back, and the amount of on-page content has reduced as well. So what we're going to do is let's back into Make, and we now need to create another flow. These are all the import metrics kind of flows. What we need is a generate executive summary, and maybe let's do the generate next steps as well. So let's get the record again for the last time. This will be generate text content. I'll set the action here to generate text. Last button, I promise, generate text. So that's there, give it a different color. And then, okay, let's save this. We'll run it, and you can see we've hit here. Brilliant. So now what we need to do is we'll use, let's just use GPT-4o because I have it set up here already. So we're going to create a completion. You could use the O1 model as well if you really wanted the LLM to think hard about it. We'll use the system role, and we'll give it some sort of message, and then we'll use the user role as well. Completion tokens is probably fine. We want it to return a JSON, I assume. So let's turn that on. Response format JSON object. We want to parse the JSON response. We definitely need to say only output a JSON, otherwise it won't work. Okay, so then the question is, what do we need to pass into the LLM to generate the output? So we pretty much need to pass everything from these 2 rows, along with all of the kind of the headings and titles. So let's see, can we just maybe search for records? We'll go Airtable, search for records. We know the current month. So yeah, I'll just choose the base and the table. we already have the current month. That's the get a record. We just need to get the next the previous record. So maybe it is, yeah, it's probably just a formula, which is where month number equals month number minus 1, I suppose. There's the minus. And you'd probably need to do something like, and, the client is who you want the client to be. Where's client name? Client name equals client name. That should work. So we'll give it a go. Run this module. Month number is 11. Client name is prime properties. Seems to be an issue with the quotation marks, I think, is it? And client name equals client name. If you encounter issues like that, where you're trying to get a formula to work and it's just not working on Make, a good way of fixing this is just to create a temporary field in Airtable and set it as formula and just paste in your formula and see does it work. And you can see there's a problem. Yeah, I'm missing brackets on this calculation. Okay, press that. Okay, run the module. Not a number. Oh, not a number. It's not a number. It's literally not a number. It's a string. So we need to cast this as a number. I think even if we just round it, I can't remember what the function is to actually cast something as a number, but if we round it, it should work because it's already a round number. No, what is going on? Month number equals 10. Yeah, so the issue is definitely this number that we're getting, because that is working now as is. So for some reason, month number, if I just do it like that, save anyway, run 10 prime properties. Okay, let's just try to set a variable and see what's going on. Last month number minus 1. Now you can't use minus, you have to use this minus, like minus there. Run this module. Month number is 10. Last number 9. That should work then, yeah. There's quirks, like this is just a quirk of make.com and of this table formula. It will work now. Exactly, yeah. Yeah. So that is a good way around it. I'll just delete out this calculation field. But yeah, the issue was the number is like text and you can't subtract 1 from text and all of this rubbish. So that solution works anyway. Set a variable and do it that way. There might be another fix to that as well, but that works for me. So what are we getting back? We're only getting back 1 record and we only want 1 record. So we can limit that to 1. Press OK. Cool. We now have the month that we're trying to generate a report on, and we have the previous month. So we can push all of that into ChatGPT to say, here's last month's and the month before. Now create an executive summary and talk about trends. You are not opening for some reason. I'll just save and refresh the page. Okay, it's opening again. Okay, so the system prompt is, you are an SEO expert and are writing a monthly SEO report for a client. I will give you all of the information on the performance of the website from last month, which the report is based on, and the previous month, so you can identify trends. Based on the below example executive summary, and it's always good to give ChatGPT examples, otherwise it'll just come up with kind of completely different results each time. Based on the below example executive summary, write a new executive summary for this time period. Only base the text on what's in the information provided. So that will at least try to stop some hallucinations. Okay, so then for the user message, we need to pass 2 things. So sometimes it's good to kind of separate or delimit these out. So last month's data, or just to clarify the report, this is the focus of the report. And then we're also saying previous month data for comparison purposes. Okay, so then we need to load in the get a record, but pretty much everything from the get a record. So we're not going to be able to do it like this, like pretty much everything here we want to provide. So the way we do that is we need to kind of convert this into JSON and just send it JSON. LLMs are brilliant at understanding JSON. So if we just press OK to that for the moment, we'll try to use an array aggregator. So let's try this. So we're going to, even though there's only 1 bundle, let's see can we get an array with 1 item. That would be brilliant. So we'll select all of that. We'll run once, wait for new data, going to generate text. Excellent. Yeah, we have an array then of, oh no, we don't. Yeah, no, that will work. We have an array. We just haven't selected anything. So you just then need to select all of the fields that you want to bring in. I'll just select everything that's in this kind of search records module. It's kind of a weird use of an array aggregator because it's not an array effectively. There's only 1 bundle, but it just means it's easy to pass everything into ChatGPT as JSON. So save that again, wait for new data, generate text. And yeah, here's the array. There's the collection and excellent. There we go. That's everything we need. And then we need to do the same here. So if we move all of that over there, and I'll just add an array aggregator here. There might be a better way of doing this. I can't think of it at the moment, but let me know in the comments if you can think of one. Okay, so that's that one. And then we'll add a new module, which is transform to JSON. That transforms any object to JSON, and we now have an object that we can transform. So that's there. So this, we can rename this last month's JSON, and then let's come over here. Oh my God. Messing things up here. Get out of there. Drop in another module here, which is JSON, transform to JSON. Now we can pick U from 40. Press OK. Rename previous month's JSON. And then into the prompt, we now have JSON from these modules, so we can just drop it in here. So last month's data is this JSON string. This should work in theory, so let's give it a go. So we'll save, run once, wait for new data, then generate text. We're going to click that one. And off it goes, and it's loading. So that did load correctly. For whatever reason, this didn't load correctly. I'm getting loads of nulls. Why is that? Total number of bundles is 0. Of course, array aggregator, so it's now no longer accessible to here when I was using that ID. So we'll get you out of there. The client name needs to come from here now. That's you, and then that's probably the same here as well. Am I using data from that module? No, I'm not. Okay, I'll try it again. Wait for new data, text, off it goes generating. No, still not working. Month equals -1, client name, prime properties. Oh, this one's using it. Month number needs to come from this array aggregator. Haha, there we go. We now have a full JSON string of the previous month. We can send that in now to ChatGPT, and it's going to be able to create an executive summary and identify trends that happened during the month. So let's see what its output. Actually, I forgot to provide an executive summary and a JSON structure. Yeah, okay. So it's providing quite a complex JSON structure, which is not what we want. We want text, basically. So come back in here. So I'll just say based on the below structure, I just need a very simple JSON structure. So it's literally just executive summary text. We can also get this module to generate the next steps as well. So maybe let's do that. So yeah, next steps short term, and then also next steps long term. This doesn't need to be valid JSON. You're just kind of giving an indication to the LLM what you're expecting, and it works pretty much all the time. Okay, so yeah, we have two slides here we want to fill out with text, and then also on the executive summary, I have 2 slides that I want to populate as well. So brief overview of the month's focus key activities and major accomplishments, and then here is summary of overall performance. So maybe we'll copy this into our prompt as well. So an executive summary page 2. Cool. Let's give this a go and see. I still haven't provided it a sample. That would definitely improve things, but let's just see what it outputs. We'll wait for new data. We'll generate the text off that one, and it's loading. Okay, it's returned, and let's see. There's the result. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I like it. It's not doing bullet points, but that might be for the best, because I think it might be difficult to inject bullet points into the template. I haven't tried it, but we're getting text. So of course you could play around with the prompts a little bit more, but I'm happy with what we have there. So next up, let's update a record. So let's clone you, drop you over there, and then we need to set a record ID, which is in this array, record ID, and then whatever we were saving there, we can delete. And of course, we now need more fields. Executive summary 2, short-term steps and long-term steps. Okay, and then back in here, it's refreshing the fields. And we now have the fields in that JSON structure. We're requiring a JSON structure from OpenAI. So when we click here, you can see we have executive summary with executive spelled incorrectly, page 1, page 2, short-term steps and long-term steps. So the JSON mode is brilliant when it comes to GPT-4o, because you can really use it in automations like that. Brilliant. So that's the end of this flow. Let's trigger it, run once, wait for new data, and then we will generate the text, and then we can see that's dynamically populating. It's finished, and there we go. There's our summaries. So the last piece of this puzzle is now to save that data in our slides. So if we come in here, you see like this is a lot of rinse and repeat really. So we have executive summary. I'll even delete this one and just copy this one. And then here, EXECUT executive summary 1 and executive summary 2. So they're the placeholders. And then we'll skip and skip. And then where's our next steps? Here and here. So we'll drop those up to there. That's short term, and we'll skip those as well. Okay, so we need to get IDs for 6, 7, 8, and 9. So back in here, we'll run that module because I think we need to get the new fields from Airtable, and then we'll run this module, this file ID. Okay, that's run. And then did I clone this? No, I didn't. So we need to clone that. We could even name these. So this is website metrics. This is backlinks. This is WordPress metrics, which is the on-page content, and this is text, kind of text insights, and we'll rename this one executive summary 1. Okay, so there's executive summary 1, and we now have that here, and we can save, and let's clone that. This is executive summary 2, which goes there. We need to get the new template ID, slide 7. Actually, we could just use the same one. There's no difference between those slides. It's the exact same slide. So we'll just change that to that. And then we'll clone it. And we can do the same then for the next steps one. No, the title's different. Leave these as separate. So slides 7 and 8. I'll run this again because we've deleted a slide. Slide 7. And here we want to get the short-term steps. And then final module, long-term steps. That's the text. And we just need slide 8 ID. We'll save that. Of course, we need to set indexes so that they appear in the right order, but I'll leave that for the moment. Let's run this, wait for new data, and now we can do the create the report. And now it's come down here, working through all of the slides. And as you can see, They're all dynamically being populated. There's a lot of movement here on the left-hand side, and they're being reordered based on that index. I think these ones, the text slides are going to come in at the end, and there we go. During the month, our focus was on enhancing organic traffic and keyword rankings. Overall performance showed positive trends. Didn't include numbers, actually. I think when I overwrote with ChatGPT, it removed the numbers, so I wouldn't mind seeing that again. But yeah, that's pretty good. I'm disappointed that. So this is why it's worth giving an example of what you're looking for. So let's just generate that one more time before we finish. Provide statistical trends of the data where relevant. Let's just see, does that do it? Obviously, it would be best just to provide an example. But anyway, let's see, has this done a better job? Long text makes more sense for these. They're paragraphs. So yeah, there we go. Noteworthy improvements were observed as users increased by 19.8%. Now, worth checking that is actually true, because this, like, I'm assuming they didn't write a Python script and executed it. So this is an LLM kind of figuring stuff out. And that's definitely where O1 might provide a better shot here. So 2654 minus 3179. So 525 divided by 2654, 19.78%. That's pretty good. I got that one almost right, or I got that right. It's rounded up. New users surged by 40.4%. 3087 minus 2198. 889 divided by 2198. Yeah, 40%. There you go. So those stats look decent at first glance. Obviously, worth sanity checking if it's an LLM that's doing the maths. It's a language model, not a maths model, but it can do well, as you saw there. So let's do one last run of the report, and we can populate out those numbers. It's paragraph format. You could play around with the format there. I think bullet points would be quite nice. I don't know how you pass the markup for that, but I'm sure it could be figured out. And there you go. It's finished the presentation, and let's have a look at the bottom, and there's the new stats. It's a bit of a wall of text, but again, you can figure out the formatting. So that's it. That's how you auto-generate a really detailed kind of report, an audit report. Here it's SEO, but this could be anything. It could be a content audit, it could be a digital marketing audit, a paid ads audit. What you need is data. Like data is the meat and drink of this automation. And if you can kind of use make.com to pull in data from different data sources and mesh it together into a report like this, like that type of report you could sell to a client for $2,000 or $3,000 a month, obviously with a little bit of service on top of it. But you get the idea that there's a huge value in that. You could use different data sources, higher quality data sources. You could bring in stuff from a project management system. You know, the sky's the limit with this. It takes a bit of time, as you saw, to get it set up, but it's very much rinse and repeat. Once you get the handle of the idea of creating a template, having the placeholders, getting the data into the likes of an Airtable, and then running the kind of the generation scenario to create the slides, you really can create some very powerful, highly kind of impressively branded reports. In my previous role in an e-commerce agency, we did monthly reports for clients, and they were just an absolute time sink. They took hours upon hours to pull together. So like something like this would definitely take a huge amount of the effort away, because once they're set up, they'll just keep running. The likes of that automation could just run in the background, particularly seeing as it's built on webhooks with Airtable. So lots to consider there. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you'd like a copy of this blueprint so that you can import it at the click of a button and play around with this automation and maybe use it as a base for your own generated reports, then check out the link in the description to our community, which is the AI Automators, where we have templates like this as well as lots of others. And once you're a member, you'll be able to download and get access and play around with all of these. We also have a vibrant community. We have weekly calls where we try to help out our members and getting their automations up and running. So I'd love to see you there. Thanks for watching.